You were up on Capitol Hill with Vice President Biden. Do you think there'll be enough votes in the House to get this debt deal passed?
Well, I was up with the Vice President meeting with House Democrats who had a lot of questions. There's clearly a mixture of views, but I would say that we were being asked the kinds of questions that people ask when people are trying to make up their minds. And there were quite a few who were still thinking about what to do. I was not with the House Republicans. I think the big question is going to be how many House Republicans are voting yes.
How much did the president compromise?
The president, in each of the stages of this, has been willing to compromise. He was, when in his conversations with Speaker Boehner, he was willing and anxious to compromise to reach a real agreement on entitlement reform, on tax reform. Unfortunately, there was not an equal ability to come to closure there. So even though the president remained willing till the end, that wasn't to be. When it came to the end here, the president was willing to compromise on some things, but not on others. He was not willing to compromise on the question of whether or not the sort of Damocles of default was going to hang over this country for the next 18 months. He said that was not negotiable. It had to be clear that we were not going to be facing months and months or years of this risk. We prevailed on that. He was clear that in any kind of a approach, whether it was the restrictions on spending in the near term or the enforcement mechanism in the back end, that there had to be shared sacrifice and equal burden, defense and non-defense. In terms of how to reach it, numbers and specific details, he was flexible.